On today's menu is a delicious chicken recipe that is cooked in a creamy onion gravy along with fried golden eggs. Sounds yummy, huh? Namaskar and welcome to Curries with Boombi. Here I have taken skinless chicken with bones. I have taken a combination of drumstick and thighs. Whenever you use chicken drumstick, try cutting out this white elastic-like thing that runs along the bone. This is just like a rubber band, and if you do not cut it, the meat gets pulled and it buckles up. Next I added juice of half of a lemon, half a teaspoon of salt and 1/4 teaspoon of black pepper powder. Mix well and allow it to marinate for half an hour. In a pan, add 2 to 3 tablespoons of oil. Whenever you fry onions, do not allow the oil to turn too hot. If your oil is too hot, the onions turn brown immediately after hitting that hot oil. We don't want that, so add the onions in warm oil, but not hot oil, and then fry them on medium heat. I added 1/4 teaspoon of salt that helps the onions to soften down faster. Now my friends, I like adding salt at different stages of the cooking process. That doesn't mean that each time I am adding salt, I am pouring a sack full of salt. No my friend, that's not correct. If the recipe calls for 2 teaspoons of salt, for instance, actually I am sprinkling little by little from that 2 teaspoons of salt because I like seasoning my food in different stages. But that doesn't mean that each time you see me adding salt, I'm adding loads full of it. And please keep this in mind. 2 things, salt and chili powder. Please do not stick to the stated proportion, but adjust according to your preference. Okay, so I also added 6 green cardamoms, 6 cloves and a small cinnamon stick, and also a green chilli which is totally optional. If you do not like chili heat, please do not add it. You do not need to brown the onions too much. Fry them on medium heat. When they start getting a little soft, add ginger and garlic. Keep frying till the onions get this very light brown color. At this point, switch off the heat and take out everything onto a bowl. Now allow this to cool down considerably before blending them. Next, heat back on medium to medium-high. Add about a tablespoon of oil. When the oil turns hot, place the chicken one by one onto the pan. If you are making a large batch, fry the chicken in batches. Fry each side till they are golden brown in color. We just need to fry them briefly to get that color, and this also makes them juicier, but they won't be cooked through. In the meantime, add the fried onions and everything into the blender jar. Here I had soaked about 2 tablespoons of cashew nuts in hot water for about an hour. Discard the water and add only the nuts. If you are allergic to nuts, just leave them out and do not worry because it will still be very delicious without it. Then here is about 3/4 of a cup of plain unflavored yogurt. Take out the yogurt from the refrigerator 30 minutes before starting to cook. Now all you need to do is to blend everything to a smooth paste. If you are allergic to dairy, you can use coconut milk or any plant-based yogurt of your choice. See how smooth the paste looks? This is exactly what we want. Okay, turn the chicken pieces, and if you see them sticking to the pan, give them a few more minutes, but please do not try pulling them out because you do not want them to turn into shreds. Okay, so let them get fried for a few more minutes on that side as well. Fry on medium heat. After that, lower the heat to low and add the blended yogurt onion mixture. And if you are frying in batches, add all the chicken that you had fried earlier and then add the yogurt mixture. And there was a lot of blended goodness sticking to my blender jar, so I added about half a cup of water to it, and all that blender jar goodness goes in as well. Next I added a teaspoon of Kashmiri chilli powder. Again, whenever it comes to any chili powder, please add lesser than the stated proportion to start with. You can always add more after doing a taste test at the end. Since I added a teaspoon of chili powder, that doesn't mean that you need to add the same proportion as well. Tastes vary, so you do whatever you feel will be okay for you or your family. Okay, at this point I added a tablespoon of ghee to make this dish more flavorful. Again, ghee is optional, but ghee does take anything to that level of yumminess. Once it comes up to a boil, add a teaspoon and a half of salt or to taste. Next, add a cup of hot water. Then a very unusual ingredient and something that is not used in Indian cuisine. That is a teaspoon of smoked paprika. Smoked paprika brings in a nice flavor to this curry, but do not worry if it is unavailable at your place. Just leave it out, or you can also add sweet paprika. Finally, a teaspoon of sugar to balance out the flavors, but sugar is optional. Next, cover on very low heat and cook for 40 minutes or until the chicken turns very soft. In between, from time to time, please remember to give a stir because you've added nuts, and for that things can settle in the bottom and get burnt. And we are not making chicken today with a burnt nut gravy. Okay, my friends, if you feel the gravy is too thick, you can add a little more of hot water to thin it out. In the meantime, let's deal with the eggs. And you can use 1 egg per person, or maybe more if you like. With the tip of your knife, just poke some holes all around. This will prevent them from bursting when they are fried in the oil, and it also helps the seasonings to go in. Heat 2 teaspoons of oil, add the eggs. Immediately add 1/4 teaspoon each of turmeric powder and chili powder. Now fry the eggs on medium-low heat till they turn gorgeous in color. Now adding eggs is optional, so I will leave that choice up to you, but they make the dish look so pretty, and when mixed with the gravy, the eggs taste too delicious. Keep moving around the eggs so that they get evenly colored all around. Now tell me, my friends, don't they look gorgeous? I learned this from my mother. Okay, once they look like this, take them off heat and keep them aside. Back to the chicken. See how beautiful it is looking? Do a taste test and adjust the seasonings. I added chopped coriander leaves. If you do not like cilantro, add any herb of your choice. Next, I added few whole chilies. I grew these chilies last year in summer and froze them. Adding them whole like this won't make the curry hot, and you can skip this step totally. The last ingredient to go in is 1/8 teaspoon of ground mace. You can also use ground nutmeg if you do not have mace. Now you can add the fried eggs at this point and just give a brief stir in the gravy. I chose to use them as a garnish today. The chicken turns out to be so soft and juicy, and the gravy coats everything and is extremely flavorful. And those eggs will steal the show. And my friends, I can have a huge plate of this. Would I feel bad about it? Nope, I don't think so, because there is nothing to worry when you're cooking everything from scratch. You know that all good things went into that pot, so you can have plenty without feeling guilty. You can have this with vegetable pulao, Bengali yellow pulao, paratha, naan. Please click that like button for me if you've enjoyed watching this video, and I will see you next time. Bye bye.